Have you ever taken a yoga class that was just a little beyond your flexibility, and you just couldn't wait for the end relaxation so that you could rest? Well, you're about to hear a story about a couple of very unusual creatures who take a yoga class. This story is by Quebec student writer Kaylee Williams. Pull up a chair around the campfire and listen in to Demon Yoga. Lie down in a comfortable position. Let your arms rest by your side. Sink into the floor beneath. Barbas and Furfur were two demons who'd been taking yoga together for a year. They'd started with an introductory session. Then they moved on to Beginner 1, Beginner 2, Beginner 3, and now they were just starting an intermediate class. Turn your attention to your feet. Relax, feet. Relax. And your feet do relax. There was always a fresh crop of students in each session, and Barbas and Furfur were always the least flexible, but the most enthusiastic. They enjoyed all the beginner sessions they'd taken and all the students they'd met there. But the intermediate students were extremely fit and flexible. Barbas and Furfur weren't sure that they could keep up through the entire 10-week session. Turn your attention to your legs. Relax, legs. Relax. And your legs do relax. Barbas and Furfur showed up to class early and laid their mats at opposite ends of the room. They never chatted or stretched before class. They just stood with their arms crossed and examined the other students as they walked in. They stared and leaned close and sometimes sniffed. All the human students were better than them at yoga. The instructor, Camilla, could sense the demons' competitive natures. "Everyone begins where they are," she said with a smile. "Try not to compare yourselves with others. Be pleased with yourself for showing up on your mat." Barbas snorted. Furfur rolled his eyes. That was not a message that demons could take to heart. Comparing themselves to others and making fun of others, as well as torturing others for eternity, was pretty much the demon way. Your chest relaxes, your diaphragm relaxes, your stomach relaxes, all the muscles along your ribs. Camilla's non-competitiveness annoyed Barbas and Furfur. Her soul was good and pure and full of faith and hope and just the sort of thing that they would like to drag down to hell and torture there. But they nodded and pretended to smile because they knew that they were super lucky to have found Camilla's private yoga class through word of mouth. The demons had heard about Camilla from students in the beginner class they'd taken. They'd heard that her end-of-class meditation was the most relaxing on earth. It was so relaxing that Camilla herself sometimes fell asleep through it, and they were really looking forward to it. And the relaxation travels across your shoulders and down your arms. Relax, arms, relax. And your arms do relax. It was very hard getting through the yoga poses, though. Demons are naturally inflexible, thick-skinned creatures, unsuited to yoga positions. Barbas and Furfur could hold a tree pose for eternity, but they struggled with Warrior too. They could not sit in lotus position, and they refused to even try the happy baby pose. The other students, all super fit and super flexible and super soulful, smiled patiently at Barbas and Furfur as they struggled with the poses. Relaxes, your temples relax, and your face relaxes. Your forehead relaxes, your brow. The intermediate class was so tough. Camilla led them in 20 sun salutations in a row just to warm up. "Now let's have a rest in downward dog to recover our energy," she said. "Who can rest in downward dog?" Barbas shouted, but it came out like a growl. "Why can't we do child's pose?" Furfur groaned, but it came out as a puff of smoke. They panted and sweated and moaned all through the class, until at last it was time for Shavasana, corpse pose, the moment the demons had been waiting for. Your entire body is now relaxed. And now that your body is completely relaxed, your mind too can relax. All the students lay down on their mats and closed their eyes. Camilla closed her eyes too, as she led her students through a deep relaxation and guided meditation. Barbas and Furfur quietly sat up on their mats. The entire class around them lay in blissful relaxation, completely unguarded and open to the world and whatever life might bring them. Both demons silently crept over to the students on their left and sucked the souls right out of those calm, peaceful, closed eyes. Then the demons lay back down on their mats as contented as demons can be. Become aware of your breath. Become aware of the space around you. Begin to move your fingers and toes. Barbas and Furfur wiggled their fingers and toes and stretched and yawned as if waking from the deepest relaxation. They sat up and smiled at each other. To think that they used to spend hours hovering over sleeping humans waiting for them to reach deep sleep. Scheduling a yoga class and waiting for the end relaxation was such a time saver. Plus, the exercise was good for the demonic waistline. Namaste, Camilla said to each student as they left. See you next week. Everyone bowed at her, except for the two now soulless students who said in identical monotones, I won't be back, as they shuffled out the door. I'll certainly be back, a super fit, super flexible, super soulful young man said. Me too, his girlfriend chirped. That was the most relaxing class I've ever had. Barbas and Furfur sniffed their innocent souls and smiled. We'll be back, they grunted. And that's our fourth Halloween student story. Thank you, Kaylee. Kaylee says her mother took her to a yoga class when Kaylee was a young teen, and she writes, I could not lie still during the end relaxation, and I still don't understand how anyone can relax lying down with their eyes closed in a dimly lit room full of total strangers who could be psycho killers or demons for all you know. Good point, Kaylee. Be on guard. Now on to our final student story.